Will it ever be perfect? Probably not.
It'd be boring.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, why are, it's like a puzzle. The health picture is like a puzzle. And there's information, if you're open and aware, there's information that will come out of that field and you go, boom, whoa. That's what happened with this for me. This is, who knew about I didn't know about the Earth's EMF field. I didn't know about the discoveries that were made by NASA. I didn't know about Yuri Gagarin's first flight in space and what that indicated about being outside the Earth's EMF field, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now that we know these things, wow, what can we do based on that discovery? And how can we enhance our health even more? This device too, what I love about it so much, you can travel with it. I gotta put that out there, because as a world traveler, I gotta have it with me. I can't just be, running around and then finally get home after 3 months to get back on my mat after I paid that kind of money. I'm like, no, I'm gonna use it every day, right?
So you should.
And I should. And I'll tell you what, so now, I used to travel with 2 suitcases. Not anymore. Here's one of my suitcases. My mat bag. And then I put all my clothes in here, because then it cushions the whole thing. And then you just throw it around. We gotta get wheels on this thing or something. Fantastic. Okay, so if you want to learn more about what I do, I'm going to be hovering around all weekend. I'm going to go do a book signing now over at Euphoria Revolution in Venice. Then we'll be coming back here in the evening, later in the evening. And we've got probably Shekinah Sabrina, superhero back there, probably one of the most knowledgeable people about raw and living foods around and superfoods. So if you have any questions that you wanted to just target me at, this woman, I mean, if you knew her life story and what she's been through, amazing where somebody could be and where they are now. It's amazing. Amazing how someone can turn their life around and get things on the right track. And so there's a woman who's speaking from experience, not just like, well, it might be a good idea for you to try this little thing. Experience, real life, almost, went off the deep end and barely survived. And now, perfect health. Isn't that cool? Only in America. Do they do that in Germany? Probably. Only. Americans push it to the limit. And then I will be more than glad to sit down with you and talk to you about anything while I'm here. So I do have some meetings and stuff that's going to be going on this weekend, but if you can grab me and sit me down, my thing about talking to people about the work I do is like, it gives me juice. People say, don't you get sick of answering questions or talking about that stuff? And to tell you the truth, it keeps me going. I get energy from it. Awesome. Okay, one more time, around the horn. This is Allie, who's our beautiful hostess for the weekend. I'm actually trained. I have two mechanical engineering degrees. I have a degree in political science. I have a degree in law, actually a PhD in law, and I have a master's in nutrition. So that's my educational background. By the way, that doesn't mean anything to me personally. That just means nothing. I mean, what is important is that if you have an education, that you continue to get an education once you're done with that education, because the information in the world of the internet is changing so rapidly, and so much data is coming in that you've got to just be with the times. One of the things, too, that's really important is that Wolfgang is in the flow of all the information that comes in about Earth's EMF fields. What is the effect of cell phones? What does this stuff do to you? Just like I'm in the flow of all the information that's coming in about the power of superfoods, the power of the top herbs in the world, we call them the super herbs, the power of raw foods and living foods. And that's kind of where you need to, those are the people you need to find in the world, who are so far into what they're doing, it's all they do, every direction, left, right, and center. That's what I'm faced with. In my office, all day, all night. And then that kind of person is the person who can stay abreast of the technology. And the stuff you can use quickly. Do you want to reinvent the wheel? Who's willing to reinvent the wheel here? Spending tons of time, effort,
and money.
No, you never get anywhere.
You never get anywhere.
That's the problem.
Right? And so this is why we come to a thing like this, just to get a little education, maybe an insight, and then that might be the foot in the door that guides you down a whole new path. In the same way, years ago, I read Fit for Life. Anybody read that book?
Yeah.
And it just slowly but surely drove my life down an entirely different path from where it was going. You never know who you're talking to. You never know what their experience is, right? So always, it's like Dale Carnegie's, lesson in, building friends, and that is, learn to be a good listener, because you just never know what that next sentence might hold. probably read in the last 10 years 1,000 books. I'm a reader. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually. And people say, well, don't you forget what's in there? I mean, how can you, what's the purpose? And the purpose is that I can get one gem out of each book. That's it. Now, if I get 10 gems out of a book, I'm absolutely elated. It doesn't happen every time, but more and more I found that there's better books out there. How we take that for granted. Remember the days you used to have to go to the bookstore? Now you can go online, and there are 10 million books. Isn't that amazing? On any subject you want, and it's at the click of a button. What do we call that? We call that a technology. What do we call this? It's the same type of technology. Just as there's been advances in internet web design, in the GUI interface system, the graphical user interface system that Steve Jobs developed, there's been technological advances in magnetic technology. There's been technological advances in how to grow food the right way, organically. There's been technological advantages that we can all use in our own experience day to day. And we got to get that on the map. You got to be able to go, yep, let's sift through that and get to this and see what this is about and try it out. And that's the best arbiter, is experience. From the experience you go, okay, now it's either one way or the other way. That's what I love about food. It's about health in general. That subject matter, it's not theoretical. You can eat the food and go, yeah, I feel good. And that experience will keep guiding you. Yep, I feel good, so I'll keep going. Eventually, where do you end up? You can, if you follow it out all the way, you can get to a place where you feel good always. Then what's your life about? Service to your mission. You know, when I asked Wolfe, like, do you get sick 28 times over the Atlantic in 1 year? It's like, no, I use the MRS every day. Right? So he's in this, that's where I'm at, too. I'm in that place. I do not get sick. Nothing's going to still slow me down no matter what. I'm going to keep going because it's all about the service and an opportunity to communicate whatever message it is. But for me, it's Raw and Living Foods. For Wolfe, it's the MRS. And that whole opportunity is there. Awesome. Are there any questions so far?
Does that counteract the jet lag too?
Yes,
yep.
Absolutely. Immediately. In fact, Air Canada now, check this out. Here's the next thing I'm doing. Tomorrow night, I fly out Saturday night, red-eye flight. I'm bringing the MRS brain, this thing right here, on the plane with, so this and this on the plane together.
Yeah, you plug it in?
And you plug it right there, because the plug is on the back of the chair now in Air Canada. So you can literally fly with this thing now.
Oh, regular outlet?
Yeah.
I can use my hair dryer?
They might stop you.
So will it fit? Does it fit?
Yeah. I've been doing that in my car. I've been driving Los Angeles, San Diego, all over Southern California. No problem. No problem at all. I got my little converter.
Oh, you have a converter then?
Yeah. And I plug the thing in, and I got the little brain right there next to me in the car, and I'm sitting on that thing, or it's like this on my back.
Oh, awesome.
You see, this is what I've learned. Not only can everything be done to get you pain-free, but it can all be done easily, without effort. It's like, how much effort does that take?
Yeah,
you're just sitting in the chair anyway.
How about just keeping your energy up if you have a long, long trip, you know?
Right, yeah. You don't want your whole energy to be sapped. Because basically, when you're in a plane, you're kind of like you're in a spaceship.
Yeah.
You're out of the Earth's EMF field. I mean, you're moving out of the EMF field. So you just sit on that thing. It's like, okay, now I'm getting those good vibes. And you're not wiped out.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Powerful. Driving
in a car, that's my most, I've had tons of experience now with that. It's awesome.
Well, how long can you sit on in the car? Only 8 minutes, right?
Wolfe told me, you know, you're an American, you keep pushing the 24 minutes and keep doing that, and that's not how you're supposed to do it. I didn't listen to him.
Well, it depends whether you use the whole body mat or the pillow,
I mean,
right?
they're different, and they're going to tell you about how each one of these things is different. But the way that I do it is, well, as much as I can. Why not? Because I want to see what the upper end is like. I want to see what's too much.
On the limit, huh?
Yeah, the limit.
There's no too much.
That's what I found. There isn't too much. I mean, I'm like, well, I'll just keep going.
You can't overcharge. Can't overcharge.
Can you overcharge yourself? It doesn't appear that you can. I mean, Wolfe might differ. He knows more about this thing than I do, but you can't do it. I mean, how long have you been doing it? 12 years?
14 years.
14 years.
Okay.
Experience with a device like this. But by the way, why would someone use a device for 14 years like that?